This is going to be a very hard video for me to make. If you have been following any of my content, I love the fact that entrepreneurship can give so many people such an opportunity they've never had before in their entire lives. But today I'm going to be putting on my big brother hat and talk about the hard truths that entrepreneurship brings. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to push a bunch of people away from entrepreneurship, but then again, if you can swallow these 5 different ideas, you're going to have the right expectations and you're going to be able to succeed in your entrepreneur journey. If you're new to the channel, my name is Bennett and I'm here to share some ideas that have helped me move the needle just a little bit, so I hope you find them useful. One of the most common questions that people talk about when it comes to entrepreneurship and it comes to the W2 is entrepreneurship for everyone? And as I continue to grow in this journey, and maybe my answer is going to be totally different in 10 years and 20 years and 50 years from now, I truly believe that for someone who's looking to just get started in entrepreneurship, you in the state that you're in might not be ready to really succeed as an entrepreneur. And there's 2 ways you can look at that. You can look at that as an opportunity for you to grow and to really step into this person who has to become an entrepreneur. Or you can look at that as something just very scary to say, hey, you know what? I'm not necessarily ready for this in order to take that leap just yet. And there are different ways that you can get through that. For example, you can have an experience and work with other people who are in the journey to understand what it's really going to take. There's going to be lots of ups and there's going to be probably even more downs. But what you have to understand is that if you can start to get yourself prepared and set up for success the right way, that's going to be the thing that's going to be able to help you. When it comes to entrepreneurship, there's going to be so much failure, and you have to understand that's really part of the game. It's the reason why I think people who have been in some type of competition beforehand, whether it's been in a sports or some other type of league, really have an advantage to those people who haven't been part of something like that. Because when you're competing, you are so used to losing and working hard that those are some of the muscles and some of the keys to understand you're just going to have to bounce back the next day. If we could start looking at those obstacles in our life as not failures, but more just feedback to understand where it is we need to go and what's the data telling me in order to become somebody better, that could be the thing that could really switch it all. So is entrepreneurship for everybody? I think everybody can become an entrepreneur, but I think people think that they're ready for it. But when they jump in, they don't really understand that swimming in the ocean is a lot scarier than they think. The second question you might ask yourself is, how hard is it going to be? And the answer is, nobody can tell you. And Alex Hormozi loves talking about this idea, how you don't even know what hard really means until you're in it. And the more you're an entrepreneur, the more you understand that concept, because there are going to be different things, different ideas that you have that are really going to succeed, and you're going to be so optimistic about it. But then you're going to come to it and you're going to try it and try to implement those ideas, and then it's going to fall flat. You're going to feel so lost. You're going to feel so scared. You're going to feel like you wasted all that time. And what you have to understand is that is part of the game. And if you'd have this shift of understanding that it's going to be difficult and we don't even know what difficulty means, we can set ourselves up for when hard things do happen, because they are bound to happen. And the question is how are you going to perceive it? And so many times people just get hit with the fact that something doesn't work, and because of that they end up just falling down. But if you can look at that thing that hit you and recognize that that is the thing that's going to take you to the next level, that is what the definition of hard work is, that is what you signed up for, and to still try to figure out how to get past it, that's going to be the key that's going to help you move forward. Recognizing that it's going to be difficult and recognizing you don't even know what difficult means will be able to help you get through those times. And it's going to take that leap of faith to understand that you can't even define what it really means. Well, now you might be asking yourself, what do I need to know? And that gets us to our third point. You see, when you come into entrepreneurship, you can break it down to something as simple as, I have a product and I'm selling it for more than more. And that's really what you're trying to do. But to understand that there's so many different aspects to it. And the more you learn about each specific topic, whether it's product, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, whether it's HR, accounting, there's so much more in depth when it comes to all these different areas. It can be really scary, and you might think it's not worth it when you're competing with people with such big budgets, but to understand that you can come in there and you could have your own specific niche and really fit yourself into that pie. One of the big things, people don't realize how big the pie really is. And if you're coming in as a single player, you have an opportunity to really be personal and have those connections with people to be able to help them get the results that they're looking for. So whether it's a product or a service, you can come out and you can actually show them and help them benefit more than some of the big gurus can. But you also have to understand that there are going to be skills that you're going to have to learn. So if you're the type of person who thinks that you have everything that you need and you're not going to be on this journey to continue to grow or to continue to learn, you're probably not going to be able to make it long term. Even if you want to look to 10x yourself and hire the right people, you're still going to have to understand it on some type of level, just so you even know what you're looking at. And when it comes to all the different skills, I think the biggest piece of advice that I would give my younger self would be just give it a go. Give it a try. Jump into the ring and understand that by you putting yourself out there, that's going to be the best way you're going to be able to learn. You could listen to the podcast, you could listen to YouTube, you could read all the books, you could do whatever you want in terms of getting that information. But until you start to apply it, you're not really going to be able to implement it to let it become somebody part of you. It's the famous idea of trying to get 1% better. And if you can just look to tweak something every single time you're working on it, you're going to see the progress that you're going to be able to make. And that takes you to my fourth point, where you're going to have to be patient. And I know you're saying, Bennett, I know I'm going to have to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm not going to be one of these overnight successes and whatnot. And you're not. But if you could really start to play in years and not necessarily days or months, then perhaps entrepreneurship is not for you. You have to understand the fact that you're going to be failing and the fact that you're going to start a business, it's most likely that that business is going to be the thing that's going to be able to make you all the money. Getting on this journey, getting on the train, getting off the stop, getting back on the train is all part of the game. It's that perspective of they're not failures, they're just feedback. And taking what it is that you've learned from the past experiences and moving it to the next experiences could be able to help you. But to understand it's going to take a lot of time and it's going to take a lot of learning. It's going to be the thing that's going to be able to help you understand that, you know what, I have to play the long game for this. If you're putting pressure on yourself to become a millionaire by the age of 30 or 35, yes, you might be able to outwork everyone, but you're going to need to learn the specific skills in order to see that success. It doesn't mean it can't happen. And most times when you play a longer game, things happen a lot quicker. But to understand for yourself that if you're going to put that extra pressure on yourself to be in a rush, it's only going to hurt you long term. And the fifth and final thing that I would suggest is make sure you're surrounded by the right people. You see, this game of entrepreneurship is so complicated and it can be so draining that you're going to need to have that right support team. So many people put themselves out there and they don't even have the people to speak to. The only people who know about it are the ones who are constantly making comments to them about how crazy you are and why what they're doing is a bad idea. If you can start to level up your circle of influence and start to find the right people you can either learn from or get mentors or coaches from, those are going to be the people who are going to be able to help you and pull you to the next level. You might think you might be able to do it alone, and maybe you can. It's just going to take a lot longer and it's going to be so much more emotionally draining. You look at all these top guys and they're all talking about those people that they used to speak with, those people whose circles they used to be in. And you might say to yourself, well, I don't have those opportunities. I can't be speaking. I can't pay $50,000 to have a conversation with somebody. And the truth is you can't. But remember, all you need is somebody who's just a step ahead of you. So if you're just starting out, try to find somebody who's making $50,000 to $100,000 and see what is that they can start to teach you. And if you start to build this ladder, you can start to get on that playing field that you're really looking to play on. Entrepreneurship is grueling, but it could also be so rewarding. So if you have made it to the end of here and you're saying, Bennett, I understand what you're saying. I probably won't even really understand it until I'm actually in it. Then they congratulate you, because so many people don't realize it. They dip their foot in the water, it's too cold for them, and they don't go into the pool. Just understand you got to jump in, your body's going to get used to it, and recognize there are other people who are doing it, and there's no reason why you can't either. It's not going to be easy, but nobody said it has to be easy. Don't be scared of the fact that it's going to be difficult. Embrace it and allow yourself to be a learner over time. Be patient and make sure to come back and tell me how your journey went. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, as well as tell me what was your biggest takeaway. If you like this type of content, make sure to take a look at my next video.